Welcome to Basic Simplification of Surd. In this lesson, I'll be showing you how to simplify simple surd. What's the simplification of surd? Simplification of surd simply means to reduce a surd to its simplest form. For an instant, we have the square root of 8. This is a single surd. In order for us to reduce this to its simplest form, we'll break the number 8 into 2 and we have the square root of 4 times the square root of 2. You know that 4 times 2 still gives us 8. So what is the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. So we have 2 root 2. This square root of 8 is a single surd, and the 2 root 2 that we obtain is the surd that we have reduced to its simplest form. Now let's look at example 1. Simplify square root of 8. So we're given this question to simplify the square root of 8. We have square root of 8 equals 2. So to solve this now, which is a single surd, all we need to do is to make use of our rule 1. Rule 1 says that if we have square root of AB, we can break it to be square root of A times B, and then we can further break it into parts by saying square root of A times square root of B. So let's see how to do that. So we need to break this 8. To break it, we're going to make use of short division for explanation's sake. So draw a line for short division, then place your 8 at the right hand side. Then now let's see which smallest number apart from 1 can go in 8. That smallest number is 2. 2 can go in 8. 2 can go in 8 4 times. So write the 4 down. Then the next thing will now be for you to check again, can 2 still go in 4? Yes, 2 can go in 4. 2 can go in 4 to produce how many? So 2 can go in 4 to produce 2. Then let's see, can 2 go in this 2 again? Yes, 2 can go to produce 1. Okay, that means what we now have we have 2 times 2 times 2 to give us 8. So we can combine 2 of them to form a perfect square number. If we combine this 2 and 2, that is 2 times 2 to give us 4, and 4 is a perfect square number. So that means our 8, we can break our 8 to be 4 times 2. So we now have something like square root of 4 times 2. So now if you look at this now, the square root of AB here is the square root of 8, and the square root of 8 times Z now, we've broken the 8 to 4 times 2. Then we now want to break them into parts by saying square root of 4 separate and square root of 2 separate. You get that now? So what's the square root of 4? The square root of 4 is 2. So we have 2 multiplied by root 2. The next thing will now be for us to get the final value. Remove these times from this and then just bring them together and you have 2 root 2 as the final answer. So this is the simplest form now. Example 2. Simplify square root of 20. In order to simplify the square root of 20, all we need to do, we want to make use of short division to do that. So draw a line for short division, then put your 20 to the right. Next thing will be, which smallest number apart from 1 will go in 20? That smallest number is 2. 2 can go in 20 how many times? That is 10 times, because 2 times 10 will give 20. The next thing you do now is you ask yourself again, can 2 still go in 10? Yes, 2 can go in 10. 2 can go in 10 how many times? That is 5 times. Next thing will now be, we have 5 here. Which number will go in this 5? Definitely 2 cannot go in it, 3 cannot go in it, 4 cannot go. So it's 5 that can go in 5. So we have 5 in 5, and that will give us 1. So for the 20 now, that means we have 2 times 2 times 5 to give us 20. We can group these two together, 2 times 2 to give us 4, which is a perfect square. So that means we can have our square root of 20 to just be square root of 4 times 5. Okay, next thing will now be for us to break them into parts by having square root of 4 separate and square root of 5 separate. Square root of 4 times square root of 5. Next thing will be, what is the square root of 4? Square root of 4 is 2, and then we have 2 multiplied by square root of 5. So our answer will now be 2 root 5. Okay, let's look at example 3. Simplify square root of 27. In this question, we have to simplify the square root of 27. So, what two number are we multiplying to give this 27? One should be a perfect square. So, if we look at the times table for 3 times table, 3 times 9, or maybe you go to 9 times table, 9 times 3 will give you 27. So, we can break this 27 to be 9 times 3. We have square root of 9 times 3. So let's try to break this down apart now. So we have square root of 9 times square root of 3. So what will be the square root of 9? Square root of 9 will give 2. So we have 2 times square root of 3. So our answer will now be 2 square root of 3, or you say 2 root 3. Final answer. Example 4. Simplify the square root of 50. In this question, we have to simplify the square root of 50. So what we need to do, we are breaking this 50 down into two numbers. So which two numbers being multiplied together will give us this 50? So to do that, if you don't know, you can make use of your calculator. The first thing you need to do is to look for the smallest number that can go in 50. So you can do that with your calculator. All you need to do is to take 50 because 2 can go in 50. So do 50 divided by 2, that equals to, that's 25. So the next question you ask yourself, is 25 a perfect square? Definitely 25 is a perfect square. That means it's a good start for us. We can choose 25 times 2 for the 50. So we have square root of 25 times 2. So we can break this apart as square root of 25 times square root of 2. So what's the square root of 25? The square root of 25 is 5. So we have 5 times root 2. So our final answer will now be 5 root 2. Okay, let's look at example 5. Simplify the square root of 72. So we are simplifying the square root of 72. So we need to break this 72 into two numbers. So the first thing you need to check out is to check the smallest number that can go in 72 apart from 1. So you can use your calculator to do that. 72 divided by 2, because 2 is the smallest number that can go in 72 apart from 1, equals to, and that gives us 36. So this 36, is it a perfect square number or not? Definitely it's a perfect square number. So we can make use of 36 times 2 for our 72. So we now have our square root of 72 to be square root of 36 times 2. So if we break this apart, we can have square root of 36 times square root of 2. So what's the square root of 36? The square root of 36 is 6. So we have 6 times root 2. And then our final answer will now be 6 root 2. Now let's look at example 6. Simplify the square root of 150. So square root of 150, to do that, what we need to do, let's use our calculator to see what can go in 150. So 150 divided by, what's the smallest number that can go? divided by 2 give us 75. Is 75 a perfect square? No, 75 is not. So that means we can use 2 and 75. So let's see what can go in 75. I think 3 can go in 75. Let's try 3 divided by 3 equals to, so we have 25, and 25 is a perfect square. You know, we firstly divide 150 by 2, and now we divide 75 by 3. So we can say 2 times 3 to give us 6. So if we say 6 times 25, we'll get our 150 back. I want to check that. 25 times 6 equals to 150. Can you see that? That means we can combine 25 and 6, because 25 will give us a perfect square. So square root of 150 equals to square root of 25 times 6. So let's break this apart, and we have square root of 25 times square root of 6. So what's the square root of 25? The square root of 25 is 5, so we have 5 times square root of 6. Then our final answer will be 5 root 6.